Are we walking into a surveillance state, just like something out of George Orwell's 1984? Maybe, and that's our hook. Hi guys, here's another episode of the Paranormal Pass coming to you from the bunker. Dalton is still out investigating a whole bunch of things, so I am riding solo today. And are we walking into a surveillance state? That's really what's on our minds, because that is what's making me real paranoid, more paranoid than usual, out there right now. So right now, there's a lot of data cooperation going on between governments and the big tech and telecom companies, right? Which isn't anything kind of new because we've seen it happen before, but it's gotten to the point now where people are starting to use it as a form of mass surveillance to figure out what the hell's going on during this whole COVID thing. And there's a story from Zero Hedge that I like to read from you, or at least some statements. It said there was a statement they had from Edward Snowden. He last week warned that the temporary mass surveillance built to combat the virus will not be so temporary, and that new measures and will be the new normal. He said the virus is the perfect cover to usher in Orwellian mass surveillance state that will long outlast the virus. China isn't the only country looking towards cell phones to monitor their citizens. Israel, Poland, and they have also implemented their own spying to monitor on those suspected or confirmed to be infected with the COVID-19 virus. Even Israel has gone the more extreme route and has now given itself authority to surveil any citizen without a court warrant. Poland, on the other hand, is requiring those diagnosed with the COVID-19 virus ordered to self-isolate and send those authorities a selfie using an app, which, if Poles don't respond back in 20 minutes, will have a smiling face. They will risk a visit from police. Can you imagine that the government is now forcing you to download an app to make sure that you are staying home and doing the things that you were required to do? And if they use this crisis as a temporary means to show that something like this works, what's going to stop them from doing it on a regular basis? They could just then claim things like crime or natural disasters or just, let's say, just being part of the state, just following the state recommended guidelines. And by the state, I mean the country or the state as a whole, and following their guidelines to end up staying and doing what they tell you to do, and then being able to track it. That is the scariest thing that I could ever think of happening. I mean, and now we're using technology that can do anything and everything it wants to make sure that it tracks you. It knows your movements. It knows what you're doing. It knows what you're consuming. It knows what you're buying. It knows your email. It knows everything about you. And now those big data telecom companies just send that information right over to the governments that are interested in it. That right there is totally scary. That right there is directly out of 1984. How long is it before the TV that you're watching makes you watch it, or that they make you consume something and then they track what you're consuming to make sure that you're following what the state wants you to do? This is getting terrifying. I mean, we're walking into a surveillance state for sure, and right now people are simply accepting it as though it is something that is going to rescue us. This will be a thing that could potentially destroy our lives down the road, and yet we take it in with open arms as though it is something that we have to do, and there's a responsibility to make sure that we do it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, isolate right now during the COVID thing, but we got to be careful what we do in the meantime, because if we get accustomed to being told what to do in this way, especially in the US, then it's just a matter of time before we give up all of those liberties. You might as well just take the Constitution, roll it up, and throw it into the garbage can at that point. This is where things are starting to get scary. COVID's scary enough, It is a dangerous disease that has killed people, that can infect a lot. But what's more dangerous is the idea that governments will be the ones who can watch what you do and when you do it to make sure it's for the greater good. That terrifies me. That should terrify you. That should be something we never accept. But it looks like everybody's pushing for it more and more. I don't know if we're headed into a long-term surveillance state or not, but I got the feeling that somebody wants it to go that way. Going back to that NWO stuff that we were talking about, again, they're just not a wrestling group that looks really scary. I did love the Hulkster, though. But the NWO wants something more out of this. They're not going to let this crisis go to waste. That's the scariest part about it. Guys, that's just my thoughts. This is the latest from the Paranormal Pass. If you have questions, comments, put them in the comment section below. Ring that bell. We need all of your help. Dalton, we miss you. We'll get you back from wherever you're investigating here soon, because I know what you come back with is going to be fantastic. I'm Josh for Paranormal Pass saying, guys, Keep paying attention to what they're doing, not what they're saying, and we will see you soon.